So from that perspective, I think I might have been mute. So I apologize for that if I was on mute. But in any case, more often than not, one of the things I always say is it'll be off the top of my head, shoot off the cuff, basically, whatever it may be. I'm losing the phrase now. But whatever it may be, I'll be on that point in time and then that subject matter, basically. Anyways, more of I know this for a fact. I mean, I rarely ever get anyone coming on live immediately when I'm streaming. Unfortunately, that's the case. That's the nature of my channel, unfortunately. And sometimes I actually do a live at weird hours because, like here in California, it's 7:20, while in the East Coast it's like 10:20. So I don't know. It depends on what times I should be streaming. I don't know when I should. But in any case, if you saw my picks from last week. Some of my picks did come through. Some of them didn't, of course. More often than not, I was right on the Giants, though. I mean, I was like a little surprising. I mean, I kind of figured they were going to beat the Patriots, not by much, but like they were definitely going to beat them. As far as Denver and Cleveland, kind of figured Denver was going to win that one. I said as of with the Green Bay Packers, the Detroit Lions. I mean, that one was a little surprise for me as well too. I thought Detroit would have won that. Of course, between Dallas and Washington, I said straight up pick up the points, the total, as well as the spread. They were going to win it. San Francisco and Seattle. I mean, honestly, I knew it was going to be a win. I didn't think it was going to be that much of a win, quite honestly, more than anything else. Of course, with New York and Miami, I mean, I wasn't sure if the Jets' defense was going to show up, but it looks like they just gave up. I hate to say this, but the New York Jets, the defense has given up because they don't have a quarterback. They know if they can hold a team for under 14 points and they still can't win with a crappy quarterback, they know they won't get much. They need a good game manager. And it was shown. Even Shannon Sharp said it best. He was on the 2000 Ravens. They had the best defense. The only problem was they had no quarterback. Once Trent Dilfer came in, he learned that he knew that he didn't have to screw up. Banks was a horrible quarterback. All Banks had to do was hold the ball, make sure he got the ball, and every now and then get a touchdown in the game. That's it. Or let the field goal team get to it. Wilson can't do that. He's trying to do too much, unfortunately. He has to learn to manage. Purdy has shown it that he's a good game manager. I hate to say this, but like maybe the Jets should not have traded away Darno, honestly, because Sam probably could have helped him out in this situation because he probably would have been a good. I mean, granted, yeah, the fact is, it's like Aaron Rodgers got injured within 4 plays of the season, but I mean, if they have a Darno, probably better than Garrett Wilson. I hate to say that, quite honestly. Not Garrett Wilson, whatever the guy's name is, the quarterback for the Jets. I know it's Wilson, but I just can't remember his first name. But in any case, and you could tell basically, even Shannon Sharp said basically like we in the offense tried the best we could because like our defense was doing everything they could, but like they were on the verge of giving up unless something changed. Fortunately, the Jets saw that without Aaron Rodgers, they didn't bother to do anything. All they had to do was maybe make a trade or two for one quarterback that was out there, some decent QB, backup QB. They could have done that, but they didn't, and they chose to stick it with Wilson. And because of that, it's hurt them in the long run. Because look at it. He's not a good quarterback. I hate to say this, but like it was a complete fail for them. In this situation, what they do with the pick in the draft, I honestly don't know. Maybe get another QB that could be a good QB, backup QB that could learn from Aaron Rodgers, so that they could pick up and become the next Aaron Rodgers possibly. Because I mean, like with Aaron Rodgers, he learned from Brett Favre, and like look where he is. So maybe this person that they draft can be that person. I mean, it would work out well for them if that was the case. But as Shannon Sharp said it basically, he said it best. Quite honestly, the Jets defense is pretty much giving up practically. I mean, they'll try their best, but why even bother? If they can't even score more than 2 touchdowns, why even bother at this point? And then, of course, the New York Giants beating the Patriots. I mean, it's pretty much done. Done, set. Belichick is out. I mean, the fact is, like, the Patriots should have beaten the Giants. The fact that he brought Mac Jones in again and then benched him, I mean, honestly, it makes no sense. He has no quarterback. And it's quite honestly Belichick's own fault. He's basically eaten the stew that he cooked, or eaten the meal that he cooked, basically. He has to eat it. if it's crap, it's crap. He's got to eat that crap because why? Unfortunately, the problem is like he forced Tom Brady out. And it was said out there. I mean, like there was rumors abound, or I don't know, rumors abound, but there was stuff abound that basically Tom Brady said he would not have gone to Tampa Bay. All he had to do was, all Belichick had to do was like, please stay, just stay, and that's it. And Belichick chose not to because his ego was so big because he was afraid. The fact was, is like everyone was saying this is all because of Tom Brady, Tom Brady, Tom Brady, Tom Brady. It wasn't the case. I mean, and it was the case. We've seen it. When Tom Brady left, it shows that Belichick couldn't do anything with any other quarterback. He had a Cam Newton, couldn't do anything with him. And I think it's more of his style more than anything else. Like everyone that has that style can't fit to his football style, basically, unfortunately, and for Belichick, that is. And don't be surprised if Belichick gets fired at the end of the season. I mean, he would have had some leeway if they were like 2 and whatever. If Tom Brady had retired as a Patriot, I think Belichick would have had another good, I don't think anyone would be talking about him being on the hot seat. But the fact is, he forced Tom Brady out. It's that time. And the fact is, it's like Belichick doesn't know how to draft. He doesn't know how to draft any good quarterbacks. I think he literally got lucky with Tom Brady. That's all that really comes down to. He got lucky. Someone probably told us, like, hey, we need this guy. He's all right, fine. It's a gimme. Let's draft him. Why not? He got pure luck. That's it. It was nothing more, nothing less. He just got lucky with Tom Brady. And the fact is Bledsoe, let's be honest. Bledsoe, when he was with Bill Parcells, he brought him to the Super Bowl or close to the Super Bowl and lost, of course. When Parcells left, Belichick had him. The Patriots weren't doing that well. And this is still what, Parcells had left in place for Belichick to do. And Belichick was not doing so well. And I've always said this, basically. I'm like, remember, Belichick, when he was with the Browns, couldn't do anything with the Browns either. I mean, quite honestly, I think this is more of a case where, like, Belichick, good as a coach he is, I think he's a great defensive coordinator, but as a good head coach, unless he has a quarterback, he's not going to do anything. And I think that goes with the saying with all other teams as well too. If you have a great quarterback or a good enough quarterback, you'll be considered a genius. Honestly, I'll say this: Mike Tomlin, unbelievable. I mean, like, he doesn't have a great quarterback. He has an okay quarterback, but they're getting by, and they could potentially make the playoffs. If he had another quarterback like a Ben Roethlisberger, or not even a Ben Roethlisberger, if he had C.J. Stroud from Houston, I think you would see basically Pittsburgh probably being in the top 2-3 teams on the AFC more than anything else. I don't think we'd be talking about the Buffalo Bills versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I think we'd be talking about the Steelers versus the Chiefs, quite honestly. Now they're talking about like it's more going to probably be the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens. That's what it seems like, and that's what it's going to look like basically at this point, honestly. Now the other thing is like, with Denver, it shows how good of an offensive coordinator that Sean Payton is. It shows how good of a coach he is. I kind of wish the Giants could have brought him back, but unfortunately they didn't, and that kind of sucks, unfortunately. But, Dable has probably a little leeway. I think the fact that they're winning with DeVito, he's not a quarterback, but he's that underdog story where you're hoping he does really well, just like what Purdy was last year. They're hoping DeVito could do something like this, but in reality, DeVito, you see he's not that great. He's like pretty much a mock fourth stringer more than anything else, a practice quarterback, QB, basically, honestly. I think I hate to say this, but like the Giants, they have to draft a quarterback, but the problem is, who do you draft? Because unfortunately, you have your $40 million player quarterback that you paid for. And I'm going to say this till the end, till they get rid of him or until they cut him or whatever it may be. But Daniel Jones, signing him was a massive mistake. That was the biggest mistake on their part. They should have never signed him. Put him on any other team, chances are it's probably going to be the exact same thing. I don't know what they saw in him. I honestly don't know what they saw in him. This is a guy that he knows how to move, but the problem is like, I don't think he knows how to get rid of the ball fast enough. I don't know if he knows how to read plays, basically, like as far as the defense is concerned. Like, I don't think he can read defensive schemes, quite honestly. And that's the problem. Even if you're surrounded with really good wide receivers, he had a great running back, and we see it. Without that running back, he sucks. And everyone's gonna say, well, what about the Minnesota playoff game? No, it's because the fact is that Minnesota secondary was horrendous that Dable was able to exploit it, and that's why. So this is a case where, like, I think Dable may last one more year. I think he might be one more year, but he's got one more year to figure it out, basically. Because after that, if it doesn't work out next year, I think he's gone as well too. But honestly, this situation with Belichick, I think he's done. Uh, if I'm Robert Kraft, I have no choice. You have no choice but to fire him. Like what they did with basically Don Shula, Tom Landry. You have to do the exact same thing here in this situation, unfortunately, because he's becoming a legend in a way, in his right. But you have to get rid of him, unfortunately. I mean, quite honestly, well, actually, Don Shula was sort of forced into retirement more than anything else. But Landry, I mean, he wanted to go as far as he could, but he knew. I mean, even Jimmy Jones knew that Landry, as an icon he was in Dallas, he had to go because without him, you don't get Jimmy Johnson, and you don't have Jimmy Johnson and the way he changed football forever at that point. The way people do drafts, trade picks, trade your star for massive draft picks, rebuild from the draft from the ground up, and you can get it from there, basically. And then, of course, with George Young, basically, what he did with the Giants, you could see good talent, you lock him up as long as you possibly can with, falling it under the salary cap. So in this situation, I don't know what happens with the Giants. I mean, if they win a couple more games, it's great, but I doubt that's good. Let's put it this way. By the time Philadelphia clinches, when the Giants play the Philadelphia Eagles, they'll probably be paying the second team or the third stringers, quite honestly, so that Philadelphia doesn't get injured. Giants probably get a win out of that. It's probably going to be a gimme win at that point. Washington, I hate to say it, Ron Rivera, he's pretty much out. The writing's on the wall, sadly. The writing is definitely on the wall for him, unfortunately. And then Buffalo, I mean, they've got issues, man. They've got issues. I mean, they were holding their own against the Philadelphia Eagles, but if they don't shape up well enough, it's going to be all Miami at this point. And I think that's what it's looking to be, basically. It's going to be looking like all Miami at this point. And I don't think the Bills make the playoffs because if the way Denver is playing, and if they do really well and they keep coming up like that, they might overtake the Bills for that last wild card spot. Actually, let me take a look and see where it is right now with the playoff picture, actually. So you have the Buffalo Bills at 6-6. Yeah, Pittsburgh Steelers, Browns doing really well. That's a surprise in and of itself, but they're doing really well. Baltimore Ravens, Pittsburgh Steelers, Cleveland Browns, Jacksonville Jaguars probably going to have it unless Indianapolis and Houston just come out of nowhere. I mean, Stroud's coming into his own, looks like. I mean, if Houston can string up a couple more wins, they might have a 12-game season, basically. And they could probably beat Jacksonville more than anything else. Denver, again, if they win a couple more games as well, too, they might be able to make that. And, Buffalo's got problems. If Buffalo can't win, if they can't win the next, actually, you know what? Let me see what their schedule is. Buffalo schedule. The remaining schedule will be the Chiefs, Cowboys, Chargers, Patriots, and Dolphins. All right, so they can definitely beat the Patriots. Chargers, they most likely will be able to beat. The Chiefs and Cowboys are going to be two tough games I know they're going to have an issue with. So that might be 2 losses. And the Dolphins, it might be another loss. So 1, 2, 3 losses and 2 wins. Yeah, that will give them... Yeah, that's going to give them a 3 losses. That'll give them an 8-9 record, basically. I hate to say this, but they're probably going to be 8-9. That's the sad part about it. I mean, honestly, they should have beaten the Buccaneers. They beat the Buccaneers. Unfortunately, they didn't beat the Bengals. They should have beaten the Jets the first time around. They should have beaten the Jets. The moment Aaron Rodgers went down, they should have beaten them. The Jaguars probably should have beaten them that as well, too, when they were in London. But I don't know why they didn't. The Broncos, they should have beaten as well, too. But the Broncos are coming back now. So it'll be interesting to see. If they can win against the Chiefs and Cowboys, or between the three of the Chiefs, Cowboys, and Dolphins, maybe they make the playoffs. But honestly, I doubt that's the case, though. It looks like they might not make the playoffs because, the way... Let me see what Denver's schedule is, actually. Denver Broncos. They have the Texans, Chargers, Lions, Patriots, Chargers, and Raiders. So that's probably Raiders, Chargers, Patriots. That's 3 right there. Now the Chargers is 4. They could have a 10-game winning season right there. They could be 10-7. Maybe 11-6 probably. I just say, yeah, I don't see the Bills making it in the playoffs this year. It's a sad state, but yeah, unless something changes dramatically. I mean, the Colts, who do they have playing remaining? Titans, they could probably beat. The Bengals, they should be able to beat. Falcons, they're doing really well, actually. And the Raiders. Yeah, if Indianapolis does really well, they could beat out. They could get that last spot as well, too. So it's between Indianapolis, Houston, Denver, Indianapolis, Houston, Denver, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland. Yeah, this is going to be a tough one. If Cleveland and Pittsburgh both get 10 wins, if they get to 9 wins, if they win 2 more straight, yeah, I think Buffalo's got to work for it, basically. They're definitely going to have to work for it. Yeah, Pittsburgh's playing against the Cardinals, what they should have. Patriots, they should have. The Colts, that's a question. The Bengals, they should have. So that's right there, 10 wins right there. Seahawks and Ravens. Yeah, I don't know about the Ravens part, but if they can beat the Seahawks and if they can beat the Colts, then the Colts may fall out as a result of it. But if the Texans, yeah, it's gonna be a dynamic, interesting dynamic. Basically, we're gonna have to see up to week 15, see where it is. That'll probably be all settled at that point. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how all this plays out. But again, look for the end of the year. I hate to say this, but sorry to Bill Belichick, but you're gonna have to go. I don't know who's gonna overtake him. The problem is like we've seen the part that we've seen though is all of the coordinators or staff of Bill Belichick that have left have not done well at all. They've sucked horribly. Sorry. To the point where they try to bring whatever his system was to these other teams, and it just failed. That system does not work, unfortunately. Mike Shannon, basically. He's had quite a few people that left his leg, and they're doing really well. Bill Parcells, though, let's be honest. Bill Parcells, Tom Coughlin, and Bill Belichick are the only 2 ones that have done really well, basically, outside of it. But Belichick himself, he hasn't had anyone that's done really well. That works. Coaches maybe Vrabel at most, but that's it. Everyone else, you saw what happened, basically. And then, Shannon, like I said, Mike Shannon, basically. Or Shanahan, sorry, Mike Shanahan. Look what he's done with with all of his staff that were with them. They're doing really well at this point. So it'll be interesting to see how this works out. Anyways, I think the Giants went for a young coordinator or young coach, hoping that he would revitalize them. Let's see what happens. Similarly, it'll be interesting to see how not the Jets, but what the Cowboys do. Honestly, he's doing really well. McCarthy's doing really well, so I would not be surprised. The Bears, I think you're going to have to lose the coach, unfortunately. The way they're playing, I think he's got to go. That's the sad part about it, because the Bears should be much better than this, quite honestly. They shouldn't be at this stage, but they are. So I hate to say this, but they're probably going to have to get rid of him. I think the Giants, I was hoping they were going to lose to the Patriots, but looks like they're not. They didn't, of course. So now they're up in the draft. They've gone down in the draft. Sorry, not up, but more gone down. The next game they play against is the Packers, then the Saints, and then the Eagles, and then the Rams, and then the Eagles again. If that's determined, if they need to be determined on 1-7. But wait, why are they playing the Eagles? Didn't they play the Eagles twice? Did they play Eagles? No, they didn't play the Eagles. Okay. Well, it'll be interesting to see how they play off in the last game of the season against the Eagles. Of course, I look for a win there because that's going to be pretty much it. I honestly don't know why Sean thinks that Daniel Jones should be the starting quarterback. He has to be because you're paying him $40 million, so you have to make him the starting quarterback. Anyways, with that, that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't have anything else. That's my live rant. I hate to say it, but like, yeah, it's like pretty much the Giants. I mean, the Daniel Jones signing was definitely a mockery in all sports. Unless he proves me otherwise, I'm going to keep mocking him, keep mocking the signs, basically. DeVito, a great underdog story. I would love for him to like succeed, but he's not the Giants QB of the future. Similarly to Belichick, I hate to say it, but you have no quarterbacks. Mac Jones or whatever it is, they haven't done well. It's your own fault. You forced out Brady. You didn't have a plan A, plan B, plan C, or plan D for that. You didn't have any plan whatsoever. You didn't have a backup plan once you got rid of Tom Brady or forced him out. You had no one. You thought Mac Jones would come in and help you out. You thought Cam Newton would come in and help you out. Nothing happened because none of them could adapt to your system. Tom Brady was the only one that was able to adapt to that system. That's why it worked. No one else could. You need a quarterback that can adapt to your system, and there's no one out there. And the other thing is like you also need a quarterback that actually is good offensive, that can read the schemes at that point and would be a great offensive coordinator. It sounds like more and more like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady would make great offensive coordinators, quite honestly. Not head coaches just yet, but great offensive coordinators. But before that, I think they got to start back and start off as a QB coach. I think if they could help out in the QB end and be QB coaches, and then work their way up to the offensive coordinator, I think that plays a big factor for them because like these guys had pretty much a lot of great things in their head. They were great play callers on the field, and they knew what to do. And sometimes Belichick let Tom Brady call out the plays, similarly to with Peyton Manning. I forgot the guy's name now. That NBC, he's the NBC analyst now. I forgot his name now. Anyways. He let him make the calls on the field. Without him, it would be a whole different story. And even with Denver, like the fact is like Manning when he was in Denver, he knew his skills were diminished, but he had to just play well enough to know what he needed to do and like make sure that he didn't turn over the ball much, but also get him down the field to at least give a chance of a score, whether it be a field goal or a touchdown at least, to give him a chance. And that's all he needed, and he knew that because he knew the defense was good enough. But outside of that, yeah. I wouldn't mind. I would honestly, if I'm the Giants, I hate to say this, but if I'm the Giants, trying to see if you could like try to recruit one of them as your QB coach. Start him off as a QB coach. There's no way you're going to get him as an offensive coordinator because honestly, that would just be throwing a mouse into the lion's den. But in any case, I'll leave it at that. Unfortunately, if anyone's leaving a chat message on this, I don't see the chats because. One, I do a live, I use Restream basically, so I don't see it. So anyone like sending me a message, I don't know if it goes because I'm using Restream, but I'm using OBS first and foremost. I'm using OBS with Restream as the plugin so I could, stream out to both Twitch and to YouTube. But if you have seen my YouTube basically, and when it becomes permanent, no longer streaming, you're welcome to leave a comment in the comment section, and I will try to answer it to the best of my abilities related to this topic, if whatever the topic was for this conversation. And also with it, if you haven't subscribed but have enjoyed my content, enjoying my channel, enjoying my videos, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And with that, I'll leave it at that. As always, as you've seen before, unfiltered, unedited, and of